Hello, good morning. It's Monday morning, just after 7 o'clock, which means it's time for the Birmingham News Review. Now, I'm going to be here with you until 8 this morning with a look back at the week just gone and a look forward to what's coming up across Birmingham and the West Midlands. Well, we'll kick off with our look back across the week at some of the things which have been making the news in our area. Jason will be here later on with another interesting guest in the Mill Bar, and I'll be seeing what's up on this week's community notice board. Norman Bartlett will tell us what's so special about this month, and we'll be profiling another artist and their work. A little later on, Sam will be joining me for a look at what might be making the news in our area during the coming week. And then Des and Sasha will be taking a look at what's on this week too. Oh, and we'll be taking a look at a very special part of our area too. It's Bar Beacon. It's a busy hour right ahead, right here on the Birmingham News Review. So then let's start off by taking a look at what's been making the news this week. Now, last Sunday, hundreds of people gathered in Sutton Coldfield to take part in the Great Midlands Fun Run. Olivia Marks caught up with those who got involved.
First, a moment's silence to remember the victims of Saturday night's tragic terrorist attack in London. And then they were off on the 8.5-mile Great Midlands Fun Run through Sutton Coldfield, with hundreds of people raising money for charities.
Me and Heather are raising money for Macmillan in memory of my dad. Rosie's raising money for New Life, children with disabilities. So yeah, this is our first time doing it, so it's quite new to us, so we're all excited, a little bit nervous, but it's going to be good. It is. I think we're going to do okay.
I'm trying to, both of us raising money for breast cancer care. I was diagnosed September 2014, so it's an ongoing thing that we're doing.
Mainly for guide dogs. My brother's blind, so I'm trying to raise a bit of money and also get me ready for the Birmingham Half Marathon.
It's for Friends of Alfred Johnson charity because they've helped my daughter on 2 occasions. She's got something called Rett syndrome, which means that she can't communicate, she can't control her body. They've funded an eye gaze camera that attached to a laptop in the software 2 years ago, and they've just agreed funding for a proper eye gaze machine, the Tobii i12, so she'll be able to communicate with us and use it for school.
Miss Birmingham Neve Conway also took part. She's entered the finals for Miss England, raising money for disadvantaged children, and she's keen to play her part in tackling homelessness.
With regards to in Birmingham, I really want to help homelessness because on my way to work I always see the same guys sitting out, and really just like to give back and just try and help them to, any helping homelessness is a very big thing that I really want to help.
These runners were defiant and united as ever, going the extra mile to help those in need. Olivia Marks, Birmingham News.
A Miss Birmingham finalist has been speaking about the bullying she encountered when she was younger. Katie Nixon is from Sutton Coldfield.
Yeah, it was a hard time for me when I was in school and in college, but now that obviously I'm a bit older, I've decided that I want to take my experiences and help other people, help young children and obviously young adults not experience the same experience that I went through. They would talk about my height, how skinny I am, they'd put chewing gum in my hair, threaten to beat me up. It was just like a long list of things really, and just being really horrible, making horrible comments, and it was just nasty. It actually went on from when I was in primary school up until I was in college, and to be fair, sometimes I still get some nasty comments now, but because obviously I've grown as a person, I'm a lot more stronger, it doesn't actually affect me that much anymore, and I actually feel like I can actually help others and not let it get to me. It got to a point where I didn't want to go to school. I was scared to actually leave the house, and I just was scared to go on social media or anything like that, and it was just terrible, and I just didn't know what to do really. But it obviously did get better because I've got stronger, and I can't let them win. So what I'm going to do is set up some workshops, assemblies, and go and talk about my experiences and how I can get some programmes set in place, so a buddy system at school. So that's what I'm planning to do in the next couple of weeks.
An exhibition has been held at the NEC for car manufacturers and suppliers to find out the latest trends and technologies in the industry. Auto Mechanica held its second event in Birmingham, and Aaron Wiggins was there.
The car manufacturing industry is one of the most profitable in the world, and here in the West Midlands, with the likes of Jaguar Land Rover, is one of the main reasons why manufacturing is such a big aid to the economy. So it was just that the Automechanica exhibition was held at Birmingham's NEC.
It's the only place we could put it in Birmingham. I mean, the reason it's here at the NEC is because this is the centre of UK automotive industry. I mean, Birmingham represents 50% of UK automotive companies. It really does. It's massive. We've got virtually all of the major vehicle manufacturers are in this kind of area. We've got, I think it's something like 16 of the top 20 manufacturers in the industry around here. So it's really, really key to the Midlands. So it's the only place.
Over 12,000 visitors from across the globe have been to the event that was run from Tuesday to Thursday, with 800 companies from the industry being represented. And although the internet has made it easier to purchase goods, many here would agree that there's nothing like doing business face to face.
The industry is really moving on. Vehicles are no longer a very simple mechanical piece of kit. They're becoming very electrically complex and will be doing so even more as we go through in the future. So it's vital that we are engaging both at distributor level but also at workshop level to make sure that they understand, okay, the technology, and we can help them with diagnosis, repair, and also to make sure they're safe.
The West Midlands was also well represented, with Redditch-based company Valeo. They work closely with several colleges in an attempt to build the next generation of car manufacturers.
It always brings fresh ideas as well, to have new people. Personally, I've started as an apprentice more in the business side. I mean, it's always good for a business to have new blood, and we really believe in this way of bringing new people in the company and train them.
As an industry that is so important, there's no surprise that so many felt the need to be a part of the exhibition. Aaron Wiggins, Birmingham News.
It seems that a third of parents do not know the correct portion size for their toddlers. That's according to a study carried out by the Infant and Toddler Forum. We spoke to a psychologist from the University of Birmingham, who's a member of the forum, about the issue.
Mostly parents are sort of quite good at knowing what they should feed their child. They're not very good at portion sizes at all, and they tend to overestimate the portion size that they should be giving a toddler. And of course, you can get some children who are sort of born with a tendency to overeat. And if you give them too large a portion size at every meal, then what you're going to get is a slightly chubby child. And of course, that predicts obesity in later life. So parents need to be careful about whether their child actually needs the food that they're asking for. Obesity in toddlerhood predicts obesity in childhood, predicts obesity in adulthood. So you've got to, if you catch it early, and you get the good dietary habits in early, then you're less likely to have a child who's obese, an adult who's obese. It's just very difficult as you get older when you've got into those established feeding patterns to sort of break them. So what we would like is, one, parents to think about portion sizes, and two, to think about the 5 food groups that they're feeding to their children, to get the vegetables, to get the fruit in. Yeah.
And staying with food and healthy eating, have you ever heard of a healthy food van? Well, a health van has been placed outside a gym in Wolverhampton. Aaron Wiggins tells us more.
When thinking of food vans, it's easy to think of unhealthy foods. Burgers, chips and hot dogs spring to mind. But a new business outside of a local gym in Wolverhampton is changing that. The health van, set up and run by Dan and Kieran, is breaking the mold by providing food centering solely around healthy eating.
The people have loved it because, you know, like the first thing you want to come out to the gym is eat. And the only things situated around this area is like burger vans, like food shops, Chinese's. And that's the last thing you want to eat when you're on your diet. But when people come out to the gym and they hear about the health van, they get the foods they need, the nutritious foods they need. It keeps them on their diet, keeps them on their track to a healthy living.
Now I must say, the food is delicious here at the health van. You select your protein, your carb and then your vegetables. The perfect combination when you're coming out of a hard workout in the gym.
In the area that I live, there's not many like healthy options, so to have it right outside the gym is like ideal for me. To have a van outside my gym that has vegan options is like ideal for me, as I said before, so it's great, it's awesome.
It's just so convenient because, like, obviously we're working hard in the gym, and as soon as we come out, we just have this option here, and it goes along with our diets and everything, helps us put on muscle or whatever we want. So it just makes things heaps easier for us.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible idea. They've definitely hit the nail on the head with it. So as soon as you come out of the gym, it's got what you need, it's got what you want. It's simple options. You can mix it up, you can mix and match, and it's real good food.
I feel like we're here to create that niche now. Hopefully we're the people to start this trend of like a healthy living and a healthy diet. So yeah, I think there should be more around, and hopefully we'll be the people who'll be putting more of these fans around, you know.
The van is certainly well received by customers, and it could well be something that we see more of in the future. Aaron Wiggins, Birmingham News.
OK, time for a break now. We'll be reviewing National Volunteers Week when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now this week has been National Volunteers Week, and we've been looking at volunteering across our area. Beacon Centre for the Blind have been supporting people with sight loss for over 140 years, and on Tuesday a celebration event was held for volunteers to showcase the work they do, as well as handing out awards for special recognition.
For over 140 years, the Beacon Centre has been helping those with sight loss, making it one of the oldest charities in the region. But its success is largely down to their volunteers, putting others in need first.
They add so much value, so much energy, so much passion that we couldn't simply do what we do without their input here. We need to show more regularly how we value our volunteers. But little parties like this cost us very little, but actually they add, we think, a new dimension to how we appreciate what the volunteers do for us.
As part of National Volunteering Week, the charity is celebrating the work of their volunteers, throwing a tea party and handing out special recognition awards.
It's all been really secretive, so I had no idea. Yeah, it just took me totally by surprise.
I think just coming to the centre is a break from some type. Some people are very isolated and they don't get to see people. So coming to the centre once or twice a week is really special for them and gives them a break from just their own company.
Well, I've become with sight loss myself, and I come to the Beacon for support, for trying to find another job and that, and I just asked me if I wanted to experience down the Beacon shop, and I've been there for about 16 months now, just thoroughly enjoy it there.
The charity hope to continue welcoming more volunteers, ensuring they can keep on providing a brighter future for those who rely on their services. Olivia Marks, Birmingham News.
Birmingham Voluntary Service Council have celebrated National Volunteers Week by recognising outstanding volunteers across the region.
As Volunteering Week draws to a close, it was time to celebrate those who give so much of their time up for free. Soho House Museum in Birmingham was the venue for the BVSC Volunteering Awards, where a number of people had been nominated for an award acknowledging their volunteering efforts. At a time when so many go to university, working for free has become a perfect way to enhance CVs when looking for employment.
For students that are looking to add practical experience to the theory with courses that they're undertaking, for people that want that change in career, people who've recently left work and are looking to give something back to their local communities, people that are new to communities and want to find out how to get involved. Absolutely, it is, services have shown it's absolutely vital for well-being. I would recommend anyone to get out and give their time and volunteer.
The winner of the Young Persons Award was 23-year-old Owen. After almost losing his life to a serious road accident, Owen decided to volunteer for Coffin Works, working over 500 hours for free, and he feels the benefits have been priceless.
After the accident, I wouldn't speak to anybody, Facebook, Twitter, everything, wouldn't do it at all. And as I said again, somebody said, why don't you try volunteering? Get your confidence back. So I'm at the Coffin Works and at Packwood House with the National Trust, and I love it. From there I built my confidence. I'll speak to anybody on the street, I'm like that. It has huge benefits. It's already actually started since being at the Coffin Works. I actually work now in Stratford-upon-Avon. I'm a tour guide there.
We've gained immensely from having volunteers like Owen. We're a very small museum. We've only got 4 members of staff, and without volunteers we couldn't keep the doors open, and so many of our volunteers like Owen have gone above and beyond and given us so many hours of their help and been such a big inspiration to us.
It's easy to take for granted regular services, but the fact that over 15 million people volunteer each year in the UK shows just how important they are. So it's just as important that they are celebrated. Aaron Wiggins, Birmingham News.
Owen Edmonds volunteers as a tour guide for museum and arts venue The Coffin Works and has been shortlisted for the Under-25s category.
It's such an honour to be nominated for a BVSC award, especially in under 25. I'm actually 87, it's the facelift that's working. No, I'm joking there. But it's such an honour, and it's a fantastic place to be as well today. About 7 years ago, I had a bus crash and I nearly died. The doctors, they gave me a couple of minutes to live. And it was from there somebody said, why don't you try this, get your confidence back? And since then it's been growing. I couldn't have done it without the Coffin Works. Originally after the accident I wouldn't speak to anybody, Facebook, Twitter, everything, wouldn't do it at all. And as I said again, somebody said, why don't you try volunteering, get your confidence back? So I'm at the Coffin Works and at Packwood House with the National Trust, and I love it. From there I built my confidence. I'll speak to anybody on the street, I'm like that. As you can see as well, I'm not quite a shy person, that's where the hair comes from. I think people recognise me from the hair and not the face, that's about it. And it's just a brilliant experience. I've met loads of new friends, I talk to people all over the world about the Coffin Works, and really it's just boosted my confidence, no end really, love it. And it's really boosted my work experience as well. So I recommend it to anybody, go out and do it, especially somewhere unique like the Coffin Works.
With the recent changeable weather, we could be forgiven for thinking that scorching sunny summers are a thing of the past. It makes choosing the right holiday destination all the more important. We wondered what you thought.
I'd probably go to Italy because my relations live there, so Venice, that sort of place.
I'd just go to Spain because I like the sunshine and the beach and the quietness as well.
Yeah, Portugal, because I say we've had quite a bit of sun in the West Midlands, and definitely Portugal.
My favourite place, I guess, is Mallorca. I'd like to say to everybody out there, Magaluf is not Mallorca. If you ever go to Mallorca, please take the time to travel inland to places like Valdemosa, the home of Chopin. It's beautiful. I can't say anything, it's just a wonderful place.
Been to the Caribbean once on a cruise, and I'd love to go back as soon as, really.
Right now, let's make our regular call to the Milk Bar with Jason Forrest. And Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre are taking Panto out on the road to schools across the region during the summer. Jason has been finding out more about it from the team behind it.
James Collins is Creative Learning Coordinator at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre, and this June he's helping introduce some kids to Panto. James, tell us more about what's going on.
So in June we're going to be taking a tour called Introduction to Pantomime into primary schools. It starts on the week commencing June the 19th to week commencing July the 10th. And it consists of 2 halves, and Ian Adams is going to be, who's our Panto Damien Aladdin, and he's going to be back in Jack and the Beanstalk. He's going to be leading the interactive workshop that we've got. That lasts for about 40 minutes, and then we have a break, and then we have an interactive production of Jack and the Beanstalk with Ian and Julie Payton, who was in Cats.
So some big names, big stars, and they're used to appearing on stage in places like the Grand. And obviously the sort of auditorium we're sitting in now is where the kids' mind's eye is going to place them as this Panto takes place at their school. And this is something that was done last year as well, and Ian was involved then, and I know it's proved to be really popular.
Yeah, it's really successful then. I think we took it to 20 schools last year. This year we're taking it to 40 schools. It's fantastic because it just gives children the opportunity to experience pantomime who might not get that chance, and it's well, as it says, it's a good introduction to pantomime.
Yeah, because the chances are they're going to want tickets to come along to Jack and the Beanstalk as well. But it does let them know what they're in for, and it's sometimes with kids you're never sure whether they're going to quite enjoy it. No. And this is another great way of getting them enthused about something by getting them interactive with the stars of the show. And when it comes to putting on the panto with all the makeup and all the costumes, that's just going to get them really interested, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a nice introduction. It'll ease them into pantomime. Also, it'll tell them all A lot about the British values that are behind pantomimes as well, like morals of the story and bringing the communities together. And Ian will focus on that during the interactive workshop that takes place before the show. So he'll be looking a lot at the British values. So it's just be a nice experience for them to have, and then they can decide if pantomime is for them.
And I'm pretty sure it will be, because it is always very good fun. Christmases and Christmas without a good panto, and I know it's going to be another brilliant one down here at the Grand again this year. A fantastic cast for that one, and put everyone in the mood for it. So basically, you get to fill your school hall with the magic of panto.
Yeah, we advise maybe Key Stage 2, all of Key Stage 2 to come down for the interactive workshop, and then for the actual panto itself, the whole school are invited, or as many people they can fit in their school hall. That's fine.
That's their only limit.
Yeah.
So that works really well. If people do want to get in touch and find out more, what's your email address?
My email address is jamesc@grandtheatre.co.uk.
Thanks, Jason. And we'll have more from the Milk Bar at the same time next week. But of course, if that's not enough for you, then the Milk Bar is also on the radio and it's a podcast too. Just order up themilkbarpodcast.com to find out more. Now then, just before we go, a health watchdog is calling on you to come up with the perfect name for its new mascot. Now, this cuddly character will form part of a campaign to raise awareness of Health Watch Walsall throughout the area this summer, and the person whose suggestion is chosen by the judges will receive £50 worth of Amazon vouchers. Now, it's hoped that the mascot, designed to mirror elements of the Health Watch logo, will help the organisation reach out to a younger audience. The awareness campaign aims to spread the word about Health Watch Walsall's work and how people can have their say on health and social care services in the area. Now, suggestions can be submitted along with your name, address and age if you're under 18, and phone number to the email address communications@ecstaffs.co.uk. Now, Health Watch Walsall is part of the nationwide government initiative Health Watch England, which is the national consumer champion in health and care, and you can find out more at www.healthwatch.co.uk. So then, still to come, we'll be seeing what's up on this week's community notice board. Norman will take a look back in time about what's so special about this week, and we'll be profiling another artist and their work. Stay with us. So then, time to turn to the community notice board. It's the news that you send to us. Remember, if there's something that we could mention, then please do get in touch, but as always, give us plenty of notice. We'll give you those all important details to contact us in a few minutes' time. Now, Mike Singleton has sent in a story about classic cars. He says, on the 17th of June at the Drum and Monkey pub on Gloucester Road, just outside Upton on 7, there will be a gathering of around 50 classic cars, namely the Fiat Coupe. Now, not many of these cars are still on the road, and Mike says that this is going to be the biggest gathering of them in a long, long time. He tells us that people turn up on the day to meet old friends, new faces, and to talk to anyone with an interest in these fabulous cars. And it's all in association with a little local garage which specialises in Fiats, including the classic cars present on the day. So it's taking place at the Drum and Monkey on Gloucester Road, just outside Upton on 7, and it's all happening on Saturday the 17th of June. Next, Dave Owen is the Vice Chairman of Birmingham Canoldeer Male Choir, and following their summer gala on Saturday the 10th, they're actually looking to recruit new singers. Now, they've got a very busy schedule coming up next year, including a trip to Barcelona and a massive concert of remembrance for the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War. Now, they rehearse on Tuesday and Friday nights at the Welsh Chapel in Birmingham's Gun Quarter, so if any of that sparked a bit of an interest, then you can always look them up at www.canoldeer.co.uk. Next, Vi Wood has been in touch. Now, Vi tells us that she's the face and founder of Leslie's Care Packages for the Homeless, which has been set up in loving memory of her dear husband Leslie. Now, they are a non-funding, non-profit voluntary group which was set up in August last year through Facebook, and already it's attracted a big response from generous people across the Black Country. The aim is to raise awareness of homelessness, as many people are still in the dark about the extent of homelessness. They accept donations which they then pass on to rough sleepers and homeless people living in shelters and emergency accommodations. Now, amongst the list of foods that they accept are small bottles or cartons of water or juice, biscuits, chocolate, crisps, tinned foods, pasta, sauce, gravy, jam packets of soup, tea, coffee, sugar and salt. And then they're also grateful for clothing items and other bits and pieces such as socks, although ideally they should be new, toilet roll, deodorant, wipes, shampoo, body lotions, razors, toothpaste and toothbrushes. They're grateful for anything, so if you could offer a donation, maybe help out, or if you just want to find out more, then the original Facebook page is at facebook.com/Leslie's Care Packages for the Homeless, and the website is www.lesliescarepackages.org, and you can contact them directly via either of those places. Now, staff and volunteers at Tipton Library have put together a five-a-side football team cleverly called BC Milan. Black Country Milan, get it? Yep. They're looking for community-based teams from the other BC authorities, which is Dudley, Walsall and Wolverhampton, all to play in a series of special friendly matches as part of this year's Black Country Festival at the end of July. Now, BC Milan comprises of staff, volunteers and friends of the library with a blend of youth and experience, with the youngest player aged 18 and the oldest player in the 50s. Yeah. Even Tipton Library manager, my old friend Robert Hazel, will be rolling back the years and making a guest appearance. Watch out for his knobbly knees. Anyway, teams must be comprised of community workers, and the emphasis is on fun and celebrating this year's festival. So any team interested should give Robert a call at Tipton Library on 0121 557 1796, or you can email bertieprettything@yahoo.co.uk. Now, BC Milan will be making their debut in a friendly game against Tipton Community on Saturday the 15th of July at 1:30 in the afternoon at the home of Tipton Town FC, which is Tipton Sports Academy. You know, just down past the Asda? Yeah, you know where that is. And good luck to them. Now, employers, schools and communities in Birmingham are being urged to get involved in the first ever National Clean Air Day next week. The environmental charity Global Action Plan is working with Birmingham City Council to host a series of events across the city on Thursday the 15th to raise awareness of the effects of air pollution and the positive practical steps that people can take to help reduce it. Businesses, schools and communities are being encouraged to organise their own events too, and the various downloadable materials on offer, plus anyone can make an online pledge to take action to reduce air pollution on the day itself, including switching their car engine off when stationary, leaving their car at home altogether, that's what I do, walking their children to school instead of driving them is also a good idea. So then, National Clean Air Day is this Thursday, the 15th of June, and that website with all the downloadable bits and pieces is www.cleanairday.org.uk. So there we go. That's what we found pinned to this week's community notice board. If you know about something that we could tell people about, why don't you get in touch? But do give us at least a week's notice. You can email news@madeinbirmingham.tv, or on social media, look us up at madeinbhamtv, or use the hashtag Birmingham News. And of course, as ever, we'll have more for you at the same time next week. Now then, let's take a quirky but interesting trip back in time with everyone's favourite historian. It's Norman Bartlam.
This month, 90 years ago, a headline-making lion became a main attraction in Aston. Birmingham panic, lion dashes from its cage, roared the headlines. Churchyard capture after an hour of thrills. Yep, the lion had been a star attraction at a circus near Villa Park, and as the tamer opened the cage, the beast leapt out for an impromptu tour of Aston. The curious and the dubious onlookers reacted with a predictable response: panic! The press noted that husbands grabbed their wives and children and rushed out. The young, exceptionally handsome beast made its way along Holt Road, jumped the wall and ended up in Aston Churchyard. That's the lion, I assume, and not one of the husbands. Eventually, Mr. Lawrence, the lion tamer, and the manager of the menagerie were pictured with the recaptured beast. One man with an injured arm and the other had his clothes torn as he received a glancing blow from the lion's paw. Every precaution was taken to prevent any untoward happening, they growled. So that was okay then, and the locals had got something to talk about whilst waiting for the lions up the road at the villa to begin their pre-season training and regain their rights to be the real pride of Aston.
Right, do you have an artistic nature? Would you like to come on the telly and show people what you do? If you would, maybe this is the sort of thing we mean.
I'm Hannah, I'm a printmaker, and I make monotype prints from collaged media from all sorts of different sources. I take images from other artists' work, from books, films, and sketches that I've made myself. Monotype is just a really fun, really easy way of printing. It doesn't take very long and it's quite spontaneous, so you can't get bogged down in any details because the ink will dry before you've worked out what you're doing. So we start with a glass plate, and then you cover that in a thin layer of ink, and then take a piece of paper and gently lay it on top of the ink, and then any pressure that you put on the back of the paper will transfer through to the front of the paper from the ink. So I use a pen or a pencil to mark from the back of the paper, and that picks up the ink at the front. So I collect images from all over the place. I draw in a sketchbook first so that I have something to reference. So lots of these are drawings from real life. Lots are images taken from other artists' work. So these legs, for example, are Tintoretto.
And we'll be profiling another artist at around the same time next week. Now, maybe you're an artist with a passion for the subjects that you portray. Why don't you get in touch? You never know, we might be able to feature you or your work on the show. Or perhaps you even know of an artist that we could cover. Either way, we'd love to take a look at your work, so why not get in touch? You can email us, news@madeinbirmingham.tv. Still to come after the break, we'll be looking ahead to see what could be making the headlines during the coming week, and then Des and Sasha will be telling us what's on around the area. Plus we'll be taking a look at a very special part of our area, Barbeacon. All that plus the weather too when we come back. Welcome back to the Birmingham News Review. A little earlier I caught up with our news editor Sam Davis. So Sam, it's been a busy week and a busy 24 hours because of course we're talking lunchtime on Friday at the moment, and it's not the end of the story yet, is it?
No, not at all. Plenty more developments probably today and over the weekend. Locally it's been interesting. Not massive changes other than Walsall North, where David Winnick lost his seat after 38 years. Yeah. Eddie Hughes now the Conservative incumbent. Preet Gill in Edgbaston is the first female Sikh MP, and obviously she follows Gisela Stewart after 20 years in that constituency. So not a lot of change across the West Midlands. Great turnout. I think the average was 61-62%.
That is impressive actually, isn't it?
It's very high considering recent elections. I'd imagine Brexit played a big part in that. So yeah, it's been great. Still not quite sure what the outcome will be. I'd imagine by the time this airs, people will be clear. Next week, we'll be looking at the youth turnout and what an important influence that was on the results. And obviously, we'd also be looking at the various ways a new government could be formed, possibly has been formed by then, and looking at the impact that might have on the region.
Okay, other things coming up that we're looking forward to?
Yeah, so there's quite a few things happening. Over the weekend there will be various events on at the universities across Birmingham, lots of open days, initiatives to get youngsters involved, so no doubt we'll be covering one or two of those. And also next week we'll be at the Memorial Arboretum, where lottery winners have used their money to help fund some new developments there, so I don't want to give too much away, but we'll be there at the unveiling early next week. So join us on Birmingham News for that.
Great, Sam, thank you very much.
No problem.
Now it's time for a new series of features on a very special part of our area. Barbeacon is on the border between Walsall and Birmingham, and over the past 5 years it's undergone quite a transition. Now over the next few weeks we're going to be profiling the area in our new series Raising the Bar.
If you fancy getting away from it all, Barbeacon might be just the nature reserve for you. It's only 4 miles from Walsall town centre, and being one of the highest points in the West Midlands, offers spectacular panoramic views. All in all, on a good day you can see at least 11 counties from here. Over here, Worcester and South Birmingham, and behind me, Staffordshire and Shropshire, with Wales stretching beyond it. It's also the high point of the Beacon Way long distance footpath, as well as a popular spot for enjoying shorter strolls. The focal point of Barbeacon is its War Memorial, one of Warsall's most recognisable landmarks. A Heritage Lottery Fund project, Raising the Bar, was launched in 2012 with the celebration of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee and with the lighting of the beacon. The project was called Raising the Bar, and its aim was to restore the memorial and other heritage features, as well as community engagement.
All over the country, thousands of beacons are being lit. At 10:15 tonight, it'll be our turn to light ours, and hopefully from here we'll be able to see all of the other beacons lit up in the landscape around us, because we've got a pretty good 360-degree view from up here. Raising the Bar is a project that is going to run for 3 years, and it's about to start imminently. We've received a grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund to restore the heritage features on Barbeacon, so the War Memorial, the flagpole and the historic plantation behind me.
We've come out to Barbeacon because it's the nearest place for us to come and join in the celebrations, and my sister-in-law's bought me.
And we've been coming here all our lives. It's one beautiful spot to come to.
I really want the Queen to reign 5 more years. Yeah, to beat Queen Victoria. Yeah. So that it's better for us. Yeah. And it's in our lifetime. We might not get anything like this again.
Throughout history, fires have been lit on hills to send messages, warn of danger and commemorate significant events.
Tonight what we've done, we've been part of an international series of beacons that have been across the Commonwealth and across the UK, and I'm absolutely delighted that Barbeacon's been involved. It's the first time in many, many decades that we've been involved in an event like this, and we've lit the beacon, we've had some fantastic music, and I think about the 500 people who attended have really enjoyed the event to celebrate the Queen's Diamond Jubilee.
Barbeacon's fires have also been lit to warn of the attack of the Spanish Armada in 1588 and to celebrate Queen Victoria's Golden and Diamond Jubilees during the 19th century. The beacons created a chain of fires on hilltops right across the country. It's thought that Barbeacon means a hill used for fire signals because bar is Celtic for hill or Old English for summit.
Welcome to Des and Sasha.
Thank you.
This is What's On, and where are we?
We're in Viva Brazil today. Beautiful bar and restaurant here on Bennett's Hill. Definitely one to check out.
if you like meat as well.
yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, maybe not if you're a vegetarian, but I'm sure they've got a few aubergines and whatever you can have. Anyway, right, let's get on. Monday, the 12th, License to Rhyme. Now, this is a new monthly spoken event. It happens at the Artrix in Bromsgrove, and poets Maggie Doyle and Spoz. Now, Spoz is coming on the Big Engine debate at the end of the month. Brilliant poet. He was the poet laureate for Birmingham a few years ago. It's given over to guest poets. There's a headliner, and also at the end of the night you have an open mic performances as well. So that's a cool night. If you're into poetry and spoken word and that, maybe you should check it out.
Yeah, might see some slam poetry there. Some people heading up on stage.
Yeah, that's the new thing, isn't it? Slam.
Yeah. I'd love to give that a go. And at the Rep on Thursday, Ursula Martinez presents Free Admission, a show that celebrates the inconsistencies and contradictions that make us all human, as well as having a bit of a dig at some of the things that are our own fault too. Now, she'll be bearing her soul and possibly a bit more.
Yeah, now see, here's something. If you go on YouTube and check out Ursula Martinez, there's a video that went viral of her doing this amazing performance. It was a few years ago, and I saw her actually interviewed recently because she was a bit upset about it going viral. It sort of gives the game away, but she comes on wearing a suit and she has a little pocket hanky, and I won't say any more, just check it out. Go onto YouTube and put in Ursula Martinez, and I think it's called Hanky Panky. You've got to watch it.
If that doesn't make you intrigued,
check it out. Check it out. And Gig of the Week time. Who have we got this week? Well, Electro Pioneers Craftwork are at the Symphony Hall. So that is going to be my Gig of the Week on Tuesday. Get down there, get your old flares out and get some electro stuff going. Okay, back to you.
So then that's all we've got time for on today's Birmingham News Review. I'll be back with you on Saturday and Sunday nights at 6 for the Weekend Magazine, and of course for another Birmingham News Review next Sunday morning at 7. Now remember, you can always keep up to date with more news for Birmingham and the West Midlands every weekday at 6 and 8 in the evening. So that's it for now. Stay tuned, the weather's up next, and then after the break, as promised, Carl Jones is back with another Big Engine debate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye for now.